you. We're to paint you now, aren't we? Eh? Yes. Well, now something a bit more for myself. I was looking at this photograph I took a while back this last summer and loved it. One of my favourite photos of my dog, Holly, down here in the Petite Creuse. So I'm going to do this one just with her, and then I fancy doing another one also by superimposing myself in here. So I'm going to do a square canvas, just taking this part and myself in there. I don't usually put myself into a painting, not really commercially viable. I don't really want this beautiful face on people's walls, do we? Commercially, people don't really want your face on it, they want just an impression of somebody's faces or just the feeling rather than exact faces. So with the one I'm going to do of myself, it'll be about myself, and I'm trying to catch the image of my feeling of myself being there, and it's a more personal thing for me. If somebody wants to buy it, well, that's fantastic, but otherwise it's time I felt it's time I had fun just doing one with me and actually in it. But this one, no taking me out, just having the dog. This is the photograph as it was, and then the next one superimposing, hopefully if I get around to it, myself into the painting and a larger square one. Just going to finish off these last 6 small Argenton paintings now for next spring, all being well. So there we go, we'll have a go at this big one then after we've done the 6. Next I want to draw out the one with myself in, so let's see what that looks like. Well, there we are, there's the 2 drawings done out, the dog and myself. And the dog just on its own on the big canvas. So there's 2 challenges after I finish these next 6 little ones of Argenton. For myself, to push and just enjoy and relax into these smaller ones of Argenton again. I'm just finishing off the last of these 6 smaller works, which have been quite fun, but there's as much work in one of these smaller ones as there is in a larger one, so I don't really make a lot of money on these, but you're still learning by doing them. I'm just finishing off with the very light blues just to bring the warms out a little bit in places. I'll pull the light together. We've seen all the photographs of them. Just need to get these cool against warms, lights against darks. And having done that, I need to come back a little bit too to the lovely ripples of foam that are coming along and down here, and just touch them across the surface of the water to give this feeling of movement. Of course we need to sign it as well. Well, here we are on a very large canvas now then. I've got 2 large ones to do, this one with just the dog, and I decided to try and do a self-portrait, superimposing myself into there and just that part of the canvas on another square canvas. I'm going to start with the sponge rollers and work it up, try and push the colours again still. I was quite pleased with that last one I did, the Petite Creuse demonstration for the Art Society there at Horncastle. Came out quite well in the end. I'd like to try and emulate or take further those colours even more so. Don't want to become too figurative though, so let's see if I can still push the abstract qualities as well as bringing out the figurative elements. So there's our picture and a sponge roller, and I'm going to start with a nice big brush as well to mix with. Take a big filbert here, and we'll try and get some broken colour effects using the sponge, with the texture of the sponge. Start off with a very light cream, so I'll take some white, put a little touch of lemon yellow just to get this going before I put back over pinks and light blues. Those pencil marks. So you can see we still see the pencil marks through it. Comes right the way through here, down there. So there's a difficult time starting a painting of this size. It's a big piece of work, and I've no idea where it's going to go or how it's going to happen, which is quite exciting, but it's also quite worrying. With the more broken colours. Now, I'm going to take that white and the same, a little bit of cream, a little bit of lemon yellow into it, and a wee touch of magenta now, just to give a slight pink flavour to it. It's surprising what colours we're going to find in this as we go along. Start pushing these colours. At first we're working against white canvas, so it's going to seem a bit dark, but we'll just bring a little bit of that very light blue. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling the roller through the brush down in the palette here, and I've mixed a colour to bring it through the brush, get all the colour on my. Now up here, we just want to start to feel some of this cool against the cream and the pink clay. I'm going to take some more of that turquoise and go a bit stronger now. Start building up this mistiness. So we want to work with our cool colours in the background and come forward with the warmer colours. This is the normal situation with recipe of this, unless it's a sunset or sunrise where it's warm in the background and cool in the foreground. So warmer here, cooler, cooler, cooler. More in focus here and less focus in the background. I'm going to get warm and cool blues going on in here as well. Remember, a cooler blue is more icy, as this one is, and a warmer blue is more pinker or purpler, like ultramarine or going into the purples. And I need to start building up these purple, grey, greens. And when it's on your roller, wherever you see it, same as your brush, we put it in. So wherever it's going to be, we start to find that colour, we start to put it in. A little bit of yellow ochre into that to make it go slightly warmer green. And a wee touch of water just to keep it fluid. Drag our roller through that. And we start to look at some of these cooler colours happening down here. See that these ferns come right through here. Leave these. I'm putting on some of the lighter colours first and put the darker on towards the end. Right up and through to here. Get the canvas covered up with coats of underpainting. I think first it'd be nice to blow through and put my details over. And you can use the edge of the roller look to start to find these tree branches through here. Making my roller marks about the leaves that I'm doing. These marks might seem meaningless to you, but actually they're still being made about the leaf shapes underneath. Give me a pattern and texture to base my work upon as I continue upwards. Yellow this time, yellow ochre, just going with the magenta and cerulean for the minute. Get this feeling of these purple greys and blues here. One or two sharper edges are starting to appear there. And we'll lose this bit too. The white canvas. Actually, it's going to be a much lighter colour later there, but as I say at the moment, I just want to cover it up. Now let's just get the rest of this white, just a coat of paint on there, just to, as I say, to lose that stark whiteness. The other colours can come over later. Take some of this lovely blue and really mix it up. Ultramarine blue is one of the most beautiful blues there is, I think. I'll put burnt sienna in with that to make a really lovely, rich mix. Burnt sienna and ultramarine blue are lovely in almost any paint, whether it be watercolour or... And the dog here. Lots of blue going on there that I don't want. A lot of work to do. Plenty of time to really enjoy this one. I'm not in a particular rush over this. There's no reason to be in a rush. I just want to make a really good painting. Put some more paint out. That's unusual. By the way I'm going through this paint today, it's going to be needed. takes a bit of doing to start off with, for sure. You're just starting now, I think, to see the effects of it. So, we've got the effect of light already. I've just got working over and over it again. Right. I think I'll wash my roller of that dark and go back to some greens now. So when the roller's very dark, you might have to clean it off. I'm going to come back to my turquoise again. A lighter turquoise this time. Lighter turquoise and green. And we'll work from those cools then through to warmer greens. At the moment I just want to pick up on these into here, right up and through, feeling these cools, building them up, losing the background. Right, I think we need to go towards the yellows a bit more now, so I'm going to take some lemon yellow straight into that same mix, quite strongly at the moment. So we've got turquoise and lemon yellow, which is quite a strong green. Just getting the effects of light, as I was saying earlier. We're not trying to do detail at the moment, just finding my way. And look how that happens. Texturing it through, tip of the roller, edge of the roller, and we can just get these feelings of the leaves. Right, there's some white into that same lemon yellow mix. So we're gradually going lighter and lighter now, picking up on these lovely light reflections that are happening. All sorts of colours we've got to find. Those lovely light colours come through here as well. Down into this fern. Effects we can get with these rollers. Lovely. I know I'm going to need to come back into this with a brush and do more textural work later on, but at the moment, hopefully you're surprised at just what we can do with the roller. So I'm going to move on to the brush yet. And we'll just go lighter and lighter. Now I want to go to white and a wee touch of the green. Go into my very, very light magenta. Just so I get some of these lightest reflected tones going on. Down here, beautiful light reflected. Lovely effects we can get with these colours and textures. Let's go warmer now to get a more orange effect. I'm going to take some cadmium red and some burnt sienna and just roll my brush through that gently and just start to see if we can get some of these richer, lovely red browns that are going on around the dog here. Coming through into these background colours, into warmth, one colour into another, orange into that, thick heavy oranges. I want to get it out onto my brush. Let's see what we can do. Beautiful rich colours. I think we're well on the way to being able to start with the brushes, but a bit more yet. Decided before I leave it, I just want to do a bit more with the more purple greens behind. Not quite happy with some of those, so I'll take some. Well, this one's going to find some more. Just a little bit of more magenta pink, I think. What we can do with that. Back into here, the background. This is good fun, isn't it? Get these purples in, play these against the warms to link it together. Right, that will do it for now. Let that dry off and we'll go to the brushes. Well, that's this morning's painting using the sponge roller only. It just shows how far we can go and the lovely effects we can get. Some people like it as it is. I think I want to go on now working into it with heavier paint and building up these textures and shapes. Right. I've done my sponge work, so I want to start working back now with brushes. Mainly you're going to use flats, I suspect, for this, but we'll see. Use a filbert at first, in fact 1/2 inch in this case, and we want to start working up these textures and areas of light. Prussian blue at the moment. Just tip of the brush a bit more here, just pick out some of these areas. Well, I couldn't resist working on it a bit more, and that's where I got to at the end of day one now. Slapped in some stronger colours, pushed myself to really slap in some heavy bodies and push those colours a bit more. I was getting a bit too dainty with my brush strokes, getting with a big brush. So hopefully I can pick up from that when I get back. Well, I'm back from my lovely time over at Beverley and seeing my friend Liz again. About 20 years we've known each other now, and I'd like to go a couple of times at least in a year if I can, and go to the Minster for evensong, and then we usually have a local pint and a lovely curry from the takeaway afterwards, so that was very pleasant. In fact, would recommend seeing Beverley Minster anytime you can. An evensong on a Thursday evening is absolutely beautiful. Anyway, beyond that, let's get on with the painting, continue it now. We've had one day on it so far, and I'm just beginning to work up these other colours one to another. I'm down to my smaller filberts now as I start to work up the textures of these various greens here. In the background, adding emerald to lemon yellow at the moment, just to feel that down here. Start to feel all these little leaf shapes. So we've got our background that's been put in with the sponge roller, and now I'm just starting to work up our darker and mid-tones and getting the sunlight. And this is the beauty of painting in this way, is that by the time I get to this stage, I'm not just painting, or I don't feel I'm just painting with paint. I start to paint with light. Putting these colours on actually is almost painting with real light here. There's a whole cascade of these lovely scale-like leaves coming down through here. Even to Prussian blue later up here, so these darks that come in. Just feel there's little bits of dark in between the lights. The way that the blue comes around, there's a halo up here to some of these colours. Not black, don't need black yet. We're not going to use black until the very end if we use it at all. There's lovely darks that are happening down here to the background on the... Yes, let's go to that bright green. I'm going to take some emerald and just add it to the white. Come through here. If you put it on your brush, if you see it somewhere else, then it's time to put it in. These cool colours that are even happening into here, these very purple tones that are coming in amongst the pinks here, isn't it, to make those seem warmer. Just bring some of these cool colours through here. Some of that brown just starting. If we do deep purple, I want some of that brown just starting to play amongst these cools here. Even the browns coming in behind here a bit into the warmth here to make these cools seem cooler, I think. And reflecting down the water a bit to give a slightly rusty tint to the water. And these little marks that make such a difference. Sort of ultramarine blue at the end of these branches just to dark against the light. Really start plastering in some stronger greens now. Just to get the tops of some of these bits of moss on the roots with some green. I've got to stop soon because the sun's shining on the back of the canvas, but I just want to slap in a few more of these really light creams and oranges. Well, that's my second day on it. I'm just going to finish off now because the sun's coming round behind. Before I do, I'm just going to slap in a few more bits of ultramarine blue. Put a bit more of that blue into places around here. It's rather nice, and it does bring out those colours of the light so much better. So let's just really push a few of these blues up into here. Let the light come down and through. So we've already got a bit of blue in there. The blue greys behind. Amazing what just a little bit of light can do here and there. It's important. Very important. And that'll do for today, I think. Well, back on this thing hopefully for the final day now, and I think we need to start to build up the warms in this more. We've got some of the warms going on here, but there's a lot more orange and gold going on in here to pull it together as well. And that'll bring out the cools. Alright, time to carry on then. Hopefully our last day on this, and I need to look at some of these darks first, I think. Start to bring some of these orange lights down through here. Now what I want to try finally is just to touch a little bit of black here and there, especially in the foreground, which I'm hoping, as it's done in the past, will bring out the strength of the dark colours, which aren't in fact black. Just to finish off these last touches. A little bit figurative this one, but it's fun to do different things at different times for different reasons. Very lights maybe just down here. I'll try that very, very light cream as a very final gesture down into the lights just here. Next thing is, have I missed anything? Maybe a tad here and there. We'll just touch into some of these slightly warmer blue greys and things. So you just need to sit back and have a look at what's happening and just make sure we've really done as much as we can do. I don't think there's a lot more I can do with this painting. Of course I can make those greens any stronger in the foreground, but that might detract from the dog, so. These last few colours can make such a difference to a painting, it's amazing. Be careful. It can make or break, in fact, it can make it worse. Get things right. mustn't fiddle too much, just finding that balance. Those last few colours are so important. Just put one or two of those very, very light creams in at the very end here, if I can. White and lemon yellow, because I've got a feeling we've lost these little bits of highlights. They're so very light here. Just got to bring a few of these back in. So we'll call that a day. Well, there we are then, but I do feel I've got a bit bogged down with the detail on this one. It's become a bit figurative again. I'm doing a self-portrait of this part. A bit tedious now, I've just been doing all of this, but I want to really loosen up into it and slab the colours on. And I'm just going to have this half with myself in and treat that, I hope, very differently, although that may draw me back into it. But I got sucked into detail with this one. Hopefully it's successful and you enjoy it. It's a bit more figurative than I wanted to do, but it's captured the essence of the place.